Hi, Adele.
Hello, Vicki.
Today we're going to talk about the power of naming because when you name something, you become connected to it. Now, why is that important to our audience? Because we have a lot of cool stuff left to do. And sometimes I struggle with getting my things done. But the Power Hour, where I dedicate 60 minutes to working on something that needs to be done. Adele?
Okay, first of all, I was just really enjoying listening. I was ready for you to go on more. It felt like a tutorial and we had just gotten started. So,
Yes, okay, I'll
can
continue.
okay.
Before I hand this off to Adele, I want to tell you that she and I were blissfully having coffee together in person, which is very rare
Kind
for
of
us.
blissfully. I wasn't feeling great, and then the norovirus came along that night. But nonetheless, I always have a good time with Vicky at a cafe.
Yeah, and hers involved mocha, but we were riffing on this idea of naming things. And I was telling her my idea about the Power Hour and how it gets things off my to-do list. And then Adele came up with
Wait. Before you
what?
launch into that, I want
Yes.
people to know that this was post Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
so pre Christmas, pre New Year's, and we were as friends talking about wishes and goals, and then as well as things that pertain to our business. And Vicky then revealed this power hour that she was instituting because she wants to kick into higher gear for our business, which our business and our personal creative goals really basically overlap, except for just a little bit.
Great, because we were doing a roundup of 2025, and here comes 2026. And what do we want to do with this, and how do we want to stay more committed?
So, Power Hour, tell us what it looks like and how is it working for you?
I set a timer. I commit to whatever that item is that I need to get done, and it could be making flights for the trip. It could be outlining the story idea. It could be
Mm-hmm.
writing the newsletter. It could be coming up with a YouTube theme or editing the video for YouTube. I turn off my phone and all I do is work on that. And I usually do an hour and a half, sometimes more, but I have to do at least 60 minutes. If I look at the clock, I go, okay, keep going.
Yeah. So, what I'm hearing you saying, it's not an hour dedicated to solely one thing, but the overarching theme of the Power Hour is committing full on to doing items that are going to move you forward in the business endeavors and also whether it's your personal endeavors of travel and your volunteer work. And what I hear you saying also is you commit to an hour, you often do more. What it shows here is you often get more out of a commitment than you intend. The commitment's sometimes the hardest part. And then once you begin, you're like, oh, I'm in it. Like this is going. I've got the momentum. Let me stay with this. Sometimes it's like going into a cold stream.
It's also specific because if I just said, here's my to-do list and I'm going to work on this group of things,
Mm,
it's too much. I add too many things. It should be
mm,
3 items on the to-do list. But this way I say, you have an hour, and usually it's focused on creativity, it's focused on writing, or it's focused on editing, coming up with ideas. It's not normally trip planning. That might be something to
mm.
do another time, but it has to be something that I am zeroed in on, that I'm focused on. And that's why the labeling it, the naming it is important.
Okay. So normally it's more creative endeavors that serve your big agenda as opposed to the small agenda.
Right, which speaks to our audience of Jane Ain't Donners.
Yeah. Because I think for a lot of my life, I served my smaller agenda. I'm
Mm,
really good at keeping the wheel oiled of maintenance of daily living, cooking, laundry, grocery
Mm-hmm.
shopping, children here, there, being a good sister, friend, daughter. And I love to do all those things, but I have realized as I flipped the triangle, or I first go in my days and week to serve the bigger A. And as a result, I have a lot more energy. I feel happier. And the smaller A stuff gets done too. I mean, I still have a pile of laundry sitting there that's been there since last week. But that's okay because the big A is having its say.
What I hear you saying is you're putting yourself first.
Yeah, myself in the sense of my purpose and meaningful things.
And
And
your
that's,
and your creativity. You're putting that
yeah, well,
first.
I feel like creativity, purpose, I mean, we can have a whole nother talk on that. But we all need to be feeding our purpose, and always with living our purpose, we are also calling upon our creativity, because creativity comes in so many shapes and forms.
And for
Like
me,
first, like I'm thinking of a surgeon, right? Like someone who just feels so called to be a doctor and a surgeon. It's not creative in your typical sense, but you're creative when you're in that surgery, especially if things go wrong and you are thinking on your feet or coming up with a new way of doing a procedure. Always creativity involved.
and I need strategies. I am someone who is, because of creativity, creative mind, I'm thinking this and that, and I'm onto this. And so I need a way to channel myself. And this helps me.
Yeah, I mean, I first feel power hours
Mm.
harness your attention and then allowed you a vehicle to focus. And I'm thinking of even, yeah, I involved in the arts where you have less of a structure sometimes to your day. If you're a painter or a writer, self-employed, it gets trickier because you don't have outside people or demands. And Twyla Tharp is written on that discipline is an essential part to creativity. And sometimes people will shrug at that, like, oh, that impedes on my creative mojo or my freedom. And in discipline is, I think, creating the space to learn, master, and then all this is simultaneous unleash.
Right. And speaking to that about discipline, it's better to say, I'm going to spend an hour working on this than I'm going to write today.
Mm, mm. Yeah, that feels so amorphic.
Yes. And that's a little overwhelming to me. I can't
Mm-hmm.
grasp that. It's not concrete enough.
Right, but for someone else, that might just be what they need to say to themselves. So you have to be in touch with what works for you. Now I'll I'll offer what you kept trying to get me to say earlier is when we were talking about your power hour in our little tete-a-tete at the cafe, I had fun proposing all different hours in the day one could categorize, and I proposed sloth hour.
Yes.
Some people might already have a power hour or two or three. And what's needed is sloth hour. And sloth hour is doing nothing. And some people might not be doing enough of nothing. there's
Right.
there's value in nothing in terms of just the beauty of just letting your mind wander, your body relax. Because a lot comes in as we are releasing and being in nothingness.
I want you to talk about Lemur Hour.
So yeah, lemur hour, different than sloth hour.
Animal Hour, Animal Planet. Go ahead.
Yes, you can tell I was a kindergarten teacher. Lemur hour is about play. And that I'm guessing too, probably a lot of people don't do enough of. And maybe someone's Jane ain't done yet next chapter is really about having a lot more play.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they've been doing one thing, doing it intensely, and they want to explore what it is to be more playful in their personality and also just bring play in. And play can take 1,001 forms. Great book by Dr. Stuart Brown if you really want to do a deep dive into play. Play is essential to our emotional and mental health and our physical health. All of this is supported by studies. And going back to creativity, and I'll always mention that because I feel like whenever you're creating a next chapter and trying to live out your purpose, creativity is so intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
Lemur Hour. Yeah, there's power in the Lemur Hour. Power Hour is its own thing, but each of these things have their own power.
Yes. And I added happy hour, but not tequila infused happy hour, but happy hour when you're happy just doing one thing. Like for me, I just want to
Oh my God, look, the balloon.
I know, I don't know.
That is the corniest thing ever.
I love
so
it though.
corny.
It was so perfect. It was unintended. My happy hour would be reading a book for an hour or making cookies or having coffee with a friend, creating an art project. For you, it might be walking. Like that's your happy hour.
Yeah, and there is definite overlap between happy hour and Lemur Hour.
Yeah, I'm not playing when I'm reading though.
Reading is a type of play. Officially,
okay. Well, I'm gonna keep my hours separated.
You may. There really aren't any rules here. These are more suggestions. But reading is a big time form of play.
Okay.
Having been a teacher of young people and a mom, you can't really dispute the key components as parts of play, which is like kind of getting lost in what you're doing, forgetting the sense of time. You're not necessarily doing it solely to get something out of it, but there is a purpose to it nonetheless. There's an element of surprise always involved.
Yes. Well, I will keep my happy hour to myself.
You can.
And I'm going to add more hours, more different ones. I
think this is why I suggested Sloth Hour, because now you're making my chest tight because I'm a striver.
Are you competing? Is that it? You're
No. No, I'm just so competitive, always asking more of myself.
That's the perfect.
Maybe I need to do that too. I should be kicking into hour this, hour how I've lived, not dividing up my days like that, but always yeah.
You don't have to do that, my love. You don't have to do that.
Going back to the title of this.
Yes. Will you wrap it up for me?
I will. To name something by articulating the time you're going to spend or the thing you're going to do. It's a commitment, and you use the word covenant or contract. You're entering into a contract with yourself, and the naming of it articulates it and brings it to the forefront. And therefore, the chance of it happening is far more successful.
Yes, I would add to make a connection, to name your space, and that space helps you get things done.
Okay. I don't know if I love that, but I'll go with it.
Oh my God, criticized.
A striver, perfectionist is critical.
Okay, but we're working on that.
We're working on that.
Okay. Adios.
Adios. Ciao, ciao.